can stop you from being deceived. If you try to find out what's up my sleeve, you can figure out what a bag of means. If you try, nothing can stop you from being deceived. Nothing can stop you from being deceived. Nothing can stop you from being deceived. Nothing can stop you from nothing can stop you from being deceived. Nothing can stop you from being deceived. Nothing can stop you from being deceived. Nothing can stop you from nothing can stop you from being deceived. Nothing can stop you from being deceived.
So let's get it cracking, man.
Yeah, man. Fire away, bro.
Yes, sir. So for those who are watching, today we have Big Mo, aka Miami Barber, straight out of Miami, Florida. 80 plus time first place barber competition battle winner, owner of his own barbershop. Just you're innovative. You're doing your own thing, man. You're pushing the boundaries in the industry, man. And we just want to talk about your journey and just what you're doing, where you're going with it, how it got started, that kind of thing, man. It's a pleasure to have you on, man. When we were there, I think it's safe to say, even me speaking for Shad, that it was really inspiring to hear you talk, man. Get a chance to meet you in person, man, and we're really appreciative of you being able to come on with us, man, and share your story with everybody else.
Yeah, man. Anytime.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So
it's not too many people that I meet that their mindset intrigues me. There's not too many, especially not in the barbering industry. You know, a lot of the barbering is like meeting jocks.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not and that you meet somebody, man, that has a unique perspective and a very, very clear way of expressing his thoughts, man. So I was immediately intrigued from your mindset just listening to you. So it's one to look forward to.
Even before that, for me, I was just intrigued how you carried yourself, just the presentation. You know what I mean? Just the look on down to I even ended up asking you about the shoes, the Alexander McQueen you had on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just the whole presentation, man. So, man, it was dope. I really wish more people could have experienced the panel, and I wish that's something I think really needs to be pushed, man, because you guys came out there and gave some nuggets, man, and so many people were there, and they were, you know, at the vendor booths, but they really missed a great hour worth of valuable information.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So as we kick it off, man, Mo, tell us about where you're from and, you know, how you got started barbering.
So originally I'm from the Virgin Islands, the U.S. Virgin Islands. And I got started barbering when I came home one day and my mom was attempting to give my dad a haircut. And she was scared of the buzzing and the vibration of the clippers. And, you know, my dad, you know, was getting upset trying to, like, you know, tell her that she missed the spot here and there. And, you know, I took the clippers and I said, I'll do it. And, you know, when I was done, my dad was actually very happy with the haircut. And, you know, later on in that week and stuff, and as time went by, he would tell people that my son cuts my hair. And, you know, watching how proud he was and how good it made him feel, you know what I'm saying, that I cut his hair, you know, I was like, you know what, I like that feeling, you know what I'm saying, I want to keep that going. And that's what made me want to just, like, look into, you know, making people look good, you know what I'm saying? Right. Because it made them feel good, and, you know, I got something in return.
Right. Definitely a hell of a feeling. So was barbering a big thing in the Virgin Islands?
It is more so now. I feel like back then when I got started, you know, barbers in the Virgin Islands were more like, you just a brother that cuts hair, you know. You even when you would tell people, you know, they'll be like, what do you do? And I'm like, you know, I'm a barber. Like, oh, you cut hair, you know. And yeah, technically that's part of the service I provide, you know what I'm saying? But there's a title for it, you know.
Right, right.
You know, there's a mechanic, you know, you don't just say, "Hey, you fix cars."
Right, right.
You know
You're a
Right.
what I'm
car
saying?
fixer. Right, right.
Exactly. So, you know, that mentality is what made me want to leave. That's what brought me to Miami, to a bigger stage. You know, um I just felt like there was more to grow with my talent and my love for what I did. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. No doubt, no doubt. So what? So was it the choice of my? What was the choice, or why was Miami the choice?
Yeah.
So at the time, Miami wasn't really my choice.
Okay,
It was just kind of like it was just more like, at the time I had a girlfriend who was coming to she was from the Virgin Islands as well, and she was
okay,
coming to Miami to go to college.
okay,
And she thought it would be a great idea if I come up with her. And
okay,
I came, and you know, Miami wasn't that much different from the Virgin Islands. I could find a lot of the things I'm used to. So
okay,
living in Miami didn't make me homesick.
okay,
So, you know, I found it very easy to just, you know, stay here, and I
okay,
decided to just build on my career here in Miami.
okay, okay.
Have you ever considered migrating anywhere else?
Um, no, anything north of Miami gets too cold.
Right. I feel you. I
Yeah, I
feel
can't do it, man. I'm a tropical boy, man. I can't do it, man. You guys can have that. You know,
you. Man,
anything colder than 70, man. I can't do it. I'm straight.
man.
Oh man,
I'm in Illinois, and he from Illinois, and I don't want it, and I'm born and raised here. This shit.
that's one of my main motivations to leave because it was
Right.
Man,
freezing.
I went to Chicago one time, man, and it was in the peak of winter, and I'm gonna tell you, man,
Ooh,
that's a scary winter that you guys have, man. Like
yeah, for
that
real.
thing hurts. That cold hurts. Yeah,
It hurts.
Definitely.
yeah,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
So I remember from the panel you were speaking about multiple things you spoke about that I want to, you know, kind of retouch back on some interesting things that stayed on my mind. But be it that I guess the biggest accolade that somebody new would attach to until they got to know the more in depth you is 80 plus first place victories in competition, bro.
Yeah,
For me, that's unheard of, man. That's insane. And
yeah.
That's GOAT status.
it is, man. And I recall you saying that your motivation was simple. Everybody was saying they was the best and you wanted to see.
Yeah. Is you know, when I first came to Miami, I would hear, you know, like, you know, people, you know, clients from all walks of life, you know, all states and cities would come sit in your chair, and they'd be like, you know, I have a barber back in New York, you know, I have a barber in Philly, I have a barber in Jersey, you know what I'm saying? And I'd be like, okay, that's cool, but we cut hair good too. But they'd be so timid and nervous. And then when you lace them up, they'll be like, oh damn, like you did a good job. Like, yeah, you killed it. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
Yeah.
And then when I leaped into the barber competition, you know, aspect of my career, um, after I won 3 or 4 in Miami, I was like, all right, you know, it's time to see what the rest of the world has out there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Right.
And I just started looking out on social media, and every time there was a barber battle somewhere, I'd book a flight, I'd pay for my entry fees, and I'd go with a bag full of clippers and do what I do.
That's interesting because it's a lot of competitive barbers
Yeah,
in Miami. A lot.
Mhm.
yeah,
A lot. We could really say Florida as a whole,
Right.
full of competitive barbers. And then you get this narrative when you hear about Florida as a barbering state. You either have people that's on one side of the line that say Florida got the most fire barbers in the industry, and then you got people on the other side of the line that say Florida don't got the most barbers in the industry or the most fire barbers in the industry. And a lot of times, it can appear to be a divide, but then when you meet a barber from Florida, they all kind of stand united on one front. Is that something that you guys kind of push forward as your agenda coming through Florida, or is it just happening that way?
No, I mean, from my aspect, bro, to be honest with you, man, every state got great and not so great barbers.
Right. No
It's
doubt.
just a matter of who you run into and who you speak to.
No doubt.
You know, and in some aspects, man, it's really just a matter of opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We live in a world where people are judging how good barbers are by their followers, by the content they put out on social media. And, you know, to be honest with you, if you really pay attention, there's not a lot of content of, especially a lot of these barbers that have, you know, high following counts. You don't really see a lot of them post any footage of a competition, right?
Right. Right.
And you know the reason why is because you know there's no, you don't know what's gonna come out of a competition. Like you can't guarantee you're gonna win.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like what like I told you guys, I don't know if you guys remember the show I told you guys. Yes, I have 80 something first place trophies, but I'm not the most decorated barber in the industry. I believe Robin Cuts has 90 something trophies.
No.
But Robin got 90 something trophies in 11 years. I did it in less than 3.
Mm.
You know, and that's what I try
Wow.
to that's what I try to tell people. I have trophies for every type of haircut competition you could think of. Robin predominantly competes in freestyle.
Okay.
So
You
he
know,
found a niche.
his niche is freestyle.
Whereas your
And
Okay.
he's a beast. I've competed against Robin, and I want to say we might be 50-50 and kicking each other's ass.
Okay.
You know, we've been to some competitions where he's gotten first and I've gotten second, and we've been to some where I've gotten first and he's gotten second, you know what I'm saying? And he's a monster.
Mm-hmm.
He's a monster, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like when you talk about Florida barbers, is that the agenda we're pushing, you know, to show. I feel like, you know, from being a barber in Florida and really mingling with a lot of Florida barbers, I feel like it was pushed on us to prove where we stand in the industry.
Okay.
Like we weren't trying to be out there like, oh, Florida got the best barbers, this, that, whatever.
Right.
People kept jabbing at us.
Mm.
Like
Okay.
if Florida got good barbers, prove it.
Right.
And that's where this Florida against the world thing started. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And yeah, then you know when the pandemic hit, they started doing the barber verses and stuff like that, and you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, and at the end of the day, you know, the tail end of it, it was just barbers from different cities just trying to showcase their work, man. That's all it was.
That's what's up.
It was, man, but it's just I don't see it with a lot of other cities the way it come across from when you're dealing with Florida barbers, man. Florida barbers, they come to shows thick.
Yeah.
Thick. It's always they come by themselves. It's always 7, 8.
There's a lot of passion here. There's a
It
lot of
is.
passion for
It is.
barbering.
Right.
It translates. It translates. Definitely translates.
There's a lot of passion here for barbering. Like the barber battles done in Florida are usually hella thick. Like they're usually packed, bro. Cause barbers, whether they're gonna compete or not, man, they just love being in the atmosphere, man. Florida barbers just love to be in the atmosphere. And you know, me personally, man, what I love about shows and barber battles is like you're surrounded by people who have the same energy as you for what you guys do for a living.
No
Right.
doubt.
You know what I'm saying? You get to leave the dead-minded motherfuckers at home. Excuse my
No
language.
doubt. No, you
You get to
good.
leave the dead-minded, can't see beyond the $20 haircut dudes at home and stand around other dudes who are passionate, you know what I'm saying, and are eager to talk about the tips of how they get this fade so fresh and how they get this line so crispy, or dudes that are eager to show you a product that they came up with, you know what I'm saying? And they flew themselves out, they paid for their little booth, and now they're at the booth proud of this little product that they came up with, you know what I'm saying? And all they got to do for you to, you know what I'm saying, to support them is just buy the product, bro, and take it home and try it. You know what I'm saying?
No
And
doubt.
that's what I love about the shows, man, the innovations, being first to get your hands on something, because a lot of these big products that we hype up now started as small products. And if you weren't at that show when they first started, you know what I'm saying, then you missed out on their wave, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
So that's why I encourage people, man, go to barber shows. You don't got to compete. Go shake some hands, man. Go bump some knuckles.
Man, that was a huge part for me, man. Just the camaraderie, like you said, being able to get your hands on different implements, new tools, but the camaraderie was the biggest thing for me. Just seeing that beyond my scope and where I reside, that it's not a hustle. It's a
Yeah.
career. It's a big industry. It's continuing to gain momentum, and it's not going anywhere.
And you have within one industry, you can have many streams of income,
Man,
which is what people always talk about. You can have many streams of income within one industry, from being a shop owner or a multiple shop owner or a suite owner, you know, or you could have your own product, you know what I'm saying, or you could sell somebody else's product.
right? Yeah,
You know,
Even
crazy.
this industry is one that's it's always looking for the new innovative way to make the practice of the job easier.
Right.
Yeah.
Anything you do that can conserve time or quality,
Right.
industry is eager for it. Eager for it.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely one of them things I enjoy. Something else I thought about, man, that one of those things that stuck out with our conversation with you with Bronham at in Miami was you said your interest in what you would like to hear from a podcast or anyone that's entering this lane was to not just talk about things that's going on in the industry, but actively doing things.
Right.
Yeah.
What things are you doing to combat these things that you see? So with that being the state of mind, I didn't get a chance to ask you then, but I would love to ask you now. What things do you see in the industry that needs some adjusting or getting rid of, and what things are you doing in the industry to change it for the new guys coming in?
So again, like a lot of the things going on in the industry, a lot of it could be a matter of opinion. I think the enhancement phase has ran its course. I think the enhancement phase is totally like dead right now, to the point where like you actually have now, which I know you guys probably saw it yesterday when I posted it. Like you actually got celebrities openly talking about how that the enhancements is just bullshit.
Yeah.
You know,
I've seen that.
like, and that should let you know, man. Like, you know, you guys are getting to a point with this enhancement shit that like you guys don't even cut hair no more. Under your enhancements should still be a great haircut.
Right.
You know, and we're getting to a point where like you go to barber schools and all the students, all they care about is enhancements. And it's like the genuine, you know, the genuine aspect of a great haircut is like not even valued no more.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's not even valued no more, to the point where like not even the students want it. You know, and it's such a fucking disease, this enhancement craze, that even when you go to other countries, like they're so worried about spray painting the hair on that the haircut doesn't even look good.
You
You know
gotta
what
be
I'm
talking about Africa.
saying? No, I've seen some of those where the haircut look like it's made out of tar, and
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I actually got a chance to go to a barber competition in Colombia, and I watched these guys put out some great haircuts where I was like, okay, you guys are done. Like, leave it right there.
Right.
You know, fantastic designs, crispy lines, and then hair came out, the sprays and the glitter and this crap and that crap, and then all of a sudden it's like, bro, I can't even see hair under all that paint no more. You know, and then they got mad when they didn't win, and I was like, bro, we cut hair, bro. We don't do body work, bro. We don't paint cars, bro. Like all this damn spray paint and shit like that, like, you know. And I explained to one kid, I was like, bro, you had the best haircut hair, and then you covered the entire haircut with spray paint. You know, and I was like, bro, they brought me here to judge haircuts, bro. They didn't bring me here to to judge fucking Picassos, dog. Like,
Right.
that's not what we do, dog. You know what I'm
I
saying?
think a big part of that is like you saying, somewhere along the lines, people lost emphasis on what the actual definition of enhancing something is.
Right.
People rely on, they're selling enhancements and not the foundation for the enhancements, right?
Well,
Yeah. Another thing with the industry, bro, is a lot of like false information out here, bro. Like,
absolutely,
you don't gotta lie to impress nobody. You don't gotta lie to build your following. Like, I've seen people get on social media and get on stages on some of our biggest shows and say that they charge $1,500 for a haircut. And then that shit gets like all the young people crunk, like, yeah, I'm gonna get out of barber school and I'm gonna whack niggas for $1,000. Right? And I'm like, I've cut some of his clients and they were shocked that I charged them $150. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I know he lying, but that's not my business. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's effing up the game, because now you got jits out here really going in hotel rooms, getting the opportunity to cut a celebrity. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody with a little with decent financial situation, and they blur out these retarded ass prices. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now there is possibility where you could charge $1,000 for a haircut. You know what I'm saying? Somebody call you at 2:00 in the morning, you better charge $1,000.
Right.
Somebody call you to leave your home at midnight to come cut their hair, you better charge $1,000. You know what I'm saying? They better really want that shit. You know what I'm saying? But like, making it sound like this is happening every day, every client. Nah, bro. Like, be a little more honest, man. Be a little more honest. You know what I'm saying?
So let me say something
too. Don't just rap about all the money and the fame and the glory, or don't just tell me about the $1,000 haircuts or the $500 haircuts. Tell me about the time that you was building up to that too.
Right.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. And I think you hit it. So when we talk about social media and we just talk about entertainment in and of itself, right?
Yeah.
That's all we see. Me and my wife talk about all the time. All this shit that's spray painted. You know what I mean? And then you have social media, and then you have a lot of guys that have big following. You see the enhancements, and you see these things. So they think that is the foundation because they don't see any different. We came from an era when a regular haircut, like way before they were enhancements. Now you got kids, you know, and young barbers coming into the game where they don't know any different. They're coming into it and they'll never know that enhancements didn't exist per se. You see what I'm saying? So then, you know, you think, you know, every athlete wants it. So they're chasing what they see. They're chasing the followers. They're chasing the game that social media sells when a lot of it is false. You know what I mean? So now you got, instead of looking at celebrities and just wanting to build your clientele, because I want to piggyback off of that, just to build your clientele and to treat people like clients and everyday human beings. Shy, or Mo, if you're financially stable, that don't mean I should charge you more than anybody else.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you said, now if I'm getting out of my bed at 12, at 2 o'clock, that's something different. But they're chasing this certain type of clientele, which leads me to the next point. It was interesting when we talked at the panel, and Shy, I don't know if you remember him saying this, but he was like, man, I love to cut regular, everyday people hair. I don't get off into the celebrities, and of course, I've cut some, some notable people's hair, but it's not my aim in what I love to do. Can you talk about that a little bit?
No, it's I've had my experiences with cutting athletes and celebrities and movie stars, and it's cool. You know what I'm saying? It's cool. Sometimes some of them have great personalities. Some of them are very easygoing. For the most part, it never really be them. It's usually their fucking entourages that I can't stand. The little dick riders that they keep around. That's the ones that I can't deal with. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes I just be wondering, like, bro, don't you sit your ass down over there? Like, it's not like you paying for this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I'm taking care of this man, and it's like you all up over here. Like, man, go somewhere, bruh.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but it ain't even them, man. It's just that, like, a lot of them I've taken care of, and I just feel like it doesn't matter how great of a job, how much of a professional, or how amazing of a person you are, they just never give me that feeling that they appreciated what I was able to do for them.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just
Mm.
another disposable person to them.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
I
And
think
I like
that comes a lot with the industry, though, man. That's the catch-22 that everyone's experiencing in the industry, because dare I say that barbers aren't standing on their own integrity, man.
they're
Barbers,
not holding themselves to the standard,
yeah,
man.
nah,
That's
they're more
what it is.
in celebrities than barbers.
And it doesn't even go that far. It doesn't even go that far into that industry. Like, we could keep it right in the barber industry.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's barbers who see other barbers with an opportunity, and they try to go undercut that opportunity.
Right.
And it's like, oh, it's like, wow, you're endorsed by this company. That's cool. And then they reach out to the company and be like, man, I'll do what he's doing for free.
Wow.
But
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? I'll do what he's doing for free. I'll stand on stage and I'll cut hair for free.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, bro, have some integrity, bro.
No
you know what I'm
doubt.
saying? Like you don't know what I went through to earn this. You don't know what I've done to get this platform. And then you're worried about, you know, taking the platform away from me just on some, like, let's be real, on some groupie shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you basically being a prostitute that don't got a price tag, nigga. You being a hoe.
Right.
Yeah. And it's I think a lot of them barbers, man, they don't have no guidance. There's nobody guiding them kind of in a direction of what it looks like to be an adult first, then serving other people second, and then a barber. And I think that a lot of people, man, at least from my experience and what I've seen, like you said, they come in the industry and they see what all of these other successful barbers have, and they want immediate results. So they feel like
perceived success.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. But when you see what somebody else have, you don't care if it's authentic or not. You just see what they have. You see representation of their success in their follower count. You see representation of their success in their attire. You see representation in their success what other people say about them.
Right.
It doesn't matter what the reality is. It's factual things on social media is how well can you get over your perception, period.
Another thing too, man, when we talk about, you know, when you're representing yourself, right, on social media, right, this is you. This is your brand, right?
Right.
And what a lot of these young barbers don't understand, and I'm not going to say young barbers. I'm going to just say barbers, because I see some older ones ain't got no sense either.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
You can't be trying to, hold on a second. You can't be trying to gain the recognition of a company, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't be trying to gain the recognition of a company, especially a big name company, you know what I'm saying? Or one of these clipper companies, you know, I don't have to name the name. We all know who the big ones are.
Right.
And then you walk up to them and you say, hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm a really good barber. I cut really good hair. You know, why don't you check me out? And then what these young people, what these barbers don't understand is that these companies are going to go to your page.
Right.
Because that's what you're telling them to do, right?
That's
They're like, yo, check out my page so you can see my work.
Right.
And then you go on your page and it's like fade blunt.
Right.
Fade a big ass bag of weed.
Right.
You strip club, middle fingers up. Like, you really think this $1 billion company wants to attach their name to you?
Right.
Like, think about it.
Yeah.
No
but
doubt.
I mean, that comes from lack of guidance. And a lot of times people come into the industry with the same, well, everybody does. They come into the industry with the same personality and the same way of being that they, wherever walk of life they coming from before they enter this door. But I don't think that it's enough barbers. It's more barbers willing to watch you make mistakes to see you that you fail. Is barbers who willing to see you making mistakes and kind of tap you on the shoulder like, hey, let me holler at you for a second. It's another way you can do that. And now I see where you headed, and that's probably not going to work out for you. It's more barbers who willing to watch you walk off a cliff than it is ones that's willing to tell you to look out for the edge. At least that's what I see in this.
So for me, right, and me and on the podcast, me and Marcus Harvey had this conversation. What's also become very big because, again, the social media and the perception of what is successful, right? The suite situation. So you have a lot of young guys coming straight out, and they want to go to suites, right? They're not looking. What's up, boy? They're not looking.
Right? I ain't see you, Rod. Just happened. I'm like, man, what? Hey, yo. My fault.
You good, man?
Mo, this is our guy, Ao. He's another
what's up
host
with it,
on the podcast. It's a total of 4 of us. But so I was saying they get in these suites, right? And so now if you're in a suite and you're all by yourself, you don't look to the left, you don't look to the right, and you don't pick up those nuggets and gems from senior barbers, veteran barbers who've been doing it. All you have to go on is what's on YouTube and what's on social media. And like we've talked before, in terms of our experiences with barber college, there's a lot you don't learn, right? So when you don't get that guy, you might have been cutting your young guy's hair and, you're doing your thing, right? Now you jump off into your little single space and you're living in your own world. And I think those bad habits, some of them are also gained that way.
There's a lot of one-dimensional barbering going on around here. There's a lot of barbers don't take pride in learning every haircut anymore. They don't take pride in learning everything that's under the umbrella of barbering. They're cool with just, hey, I could slay a fade, I could do a line. That's all I'm gonna attack. That's all I want to do, and then they get the opportunity to cut somebody who needs a little bit more than that, somebody who needs some styling, and they zeke them, you know what I'm saying? And and then they don't see it as a big deal because they're like, that's just one person. All my biggest opportunities have came from one person. And that's what they need to fail to understand. You don't know who that one person knows. You don't know who sent that one person to your chair. You don't know how that one person found out about you. Some of my biggest opportunities in my career have came from an individual. An individual that sat in my chair, an individual that shook my hand, an individual that walked across my stage when I happened to be teaching a class or something of that sort. This opportunity came from, you guys walking across and being part of my class at Bronner Brothers. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so did my opportunity to go to the NBA bubble. That was an individual that sat in my chair. And then later that week called me and said, hey, my wife needs somebody to take care of one of her clients. I went and took care of that client, and that client just so happened to be the person who pulled me in the bubble.
So tell us a little bit about that situation. We also had Sasha. She cut me. Shout out to her.
That's my girl.
Yeah, she was on the podcast and she told us about her experience, how she was one of 7 barbers. Expound on that a little bit if you can for us.
All right, so pretty much the selection process, a lot of the barbers had relationships with either a player or a team.
Okay.
Joel Master Barber, he was the official barber of most of the Orlando Magic's players. My man said he had a relationship with the Lakers already. Danny was he was Kawhi Leonard's barber, amongst other players that live in LA in their off season. My man Willie was actually he's my guy Big Beard, I forgot his name. James Harden. He was James Harden and Westbrook's barber, as well as he's Chris Paul's barber. You know what I'm saying? So all these guys had like pretty much like ties to somebody who pulled them in. You know what I'm saying? Then myself, like I said, it was this one particular client that I went and took care of, and it just so happened that his brother was the one who was in charge of putting the grooming services together for the bubble. And his brother reached out to him and said, "Hey, I need names of barbers that you know that are good but professional, because they have to live with us inside the bubble."
Mm-hmm.
And that gentleman told his brother, "Well, if you're talking about professional, you got to get my barber out of Miami."
Mm.
And that's how, you know, I received the phone call to see if I would like to be a part of that.
I love what you said. What the criteria in which they ask: good and professional.
Yeah, because you know you're talking about, we're gonna be locked up in a facility living with NBA players.
Absolutely.
They need to know that they have people that can conduct themselves, because it's not just the players, it's the NBA personnel. You know what I'm saying? The president of the Players Association. These are the people that are going to be walking around. You know what I'm saying? So it's
It's a
like,
brand.
so you have to bring people who are gonna represent your company well. You can't just have a bunch of people in there acting all wild and running around and being stupid.
Right.
You know, so you have to be very selective of who you bring in.
Right. No doubt.
So that makes me think, man, in the light of how we initiated this portion of the conversation, and thank you for giving us the information, sharing that with us. It brings me to the second part of your understanding of what makes a good podcast. What can we do to start to encourage more leadership roles in this barbering industry? What can we do to get more people understanding that sometimes you have to be willing to take on more of a role than just a good barber? You need to be able to take on the role of a leader, because I say that, and a lot of people only hear, are you talking about shop owners? It's like, no, you as a barber, as an individual here, can be a leader in any shop across America.
Yeah, you don't have to be a shop owner to, you know, to be a leader, or to, you know what I'm saying, you know, do something big in your community. There's a lot of barbers that are not shop owners that are doing major things in the industry and for the community. Mm-hmm. So, you know, as far as a podcast, you know, like, I feel like the best thing you could do is just raise awareness, especially to the right people who have certain interests in certain things, because every barber has interests in different things. There are some barbers that solely dedicate their career to taking care of homeless people, you know what I'm saying, cutting homeless people. There are some barbers, and I feel like the podcast should do better jobs of helping these people get out there so that their mission could be bigger.
Right.
You know, I know quite a few barbers that actually don't do this for money. They're actually retired from another career, and they do this so that they can make somebody look good, so that person can feel good.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And, you know, people like this are not getting the awareness. They're not getting the exposure. You know what I'm saying? Because the industry is not glorifying, you know what I'm saying, being a barber for the community no more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not glorified. It's not fun. Like, nobody's shooting, you know, this hip hop music video style content of them walking around and cutting homeless people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When you see a video of somebody walking around cutting homeless people, it's like usually a really fast snippet video. You know, there's no flashing lights, there's no smoke coming out the background. You know what I'm saying? None of this like BS that got shit to do with cutting hair, right? It just makes the video look cool. So it's like there's none of this going on, because it's like, you know, it's just like, you know, hey, we out here, da da da, we, you know, boom boom boom, such and such is out here giving out food, you know, thank you guys who participated. And then young barbers look at that and be like, that's boring.
Man, you just took the words out of my mouth. It's a a few programs out here. They got one of them. They on Instagram. If you guys ever get a chance to look them up, it's called Nashville Street Barbers, and that's what they do. They ask for barbers to volunteer their time to come out to downtown Nashville. They starting a division out here in Murfreesboro to come out, cut the heads of less fortunate, homeless, women's shelters, men's shelters, everywhere. And whenever you go, because for me, that was an opportunity that I never avoided when I was in school, because for me that was my way of getting better.
Yeah, your reps. You getting your reps in. Yeah.
And not only just my reps, I know when I get there, it's gonna be all different grades of hair. You don't know who you're gonna cut, what you're gonna get. All different situations. It may be somebody who hasn't had their hair washed in months. Where you have to wash their hair thoroughly enough to even see what it can be, right?
Right, no doubt.
I would go, once I graduated, I would go back to the school and always ask them guys, man, they're doing the back to school haircuts. They're doing the Nashville Street Barbers. We're going to be doing haircuts down here at the youth center. We're doing haircuts at the VA office. Right. And it's incredible how guys are not interested in anything that doesn't immediately benefit them financially.
Right.
Yeah.
Not interested in it.
Right.
Yeah. But they don't realize, like, when you go to events like this, you meet commissioners, you meet a lot of, and some cities, you know, you got the mayors, you got the governors. These are the people that you meet at events like this. And these are the people that can actually find ways to grant you money to open a business for free.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Or to get you paid for doing stuff like that.
Absolutely.
They know how to allocate money in ways that you no longer have to do that for free. It won't be free. It'll be free to the people you're servicing.
Right.
But your time will be compensated.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? These are the people that you meet, and that's what they don't understand. You know.
Go ahead.
And I agree wholeheartedly. I see that from a lot of young barbers in terms of community, and we even touched on this y'all last week with Hunt, just about, you know, kind of how the whole community barbering aspect has went away. You know, usually, you know, coming up, you know, barbers cut generations of people. You know, you might have the grandfather, the father, the son.
I have that now.
You know, and it's kind of become a thing of the past where you have a lot of the young barbers, because they don't see a lot of it. You know, they don't want to cut kids, you know, because it's not an easy thing to do. They just, you know, you got barbers entering who just want to jump straight to the top. And I know you had a rough day yesterday with the kids, you know, but it's a necessary evil, right?
Yeah.
And the beauty that I get from it in terms of community is you get these impressionable minds in your chair, and we have an opportunity to make a difference. And I think a lot of barbers miss out on that. You know what I'm saying? That's another way of giving back to your community. Because then when you start seeing the shooters and the killers, the dope dealers, you know, the young ones that are coming up, you have that respect.
A lot of kids open up to their barbers about stuff they wouldn't open up to their parents about.
Absolutely.
In some cases, you're like a second or a third parent.
Absolutely.
You know, absolutely. I mean, we all know that in a lot of homes, there's a single parent home.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And to a lot of young men, you might be their only male figure.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You might be the only male figure. That's why it's important to be conscious of what you put on TV in the barbershop, the type of music you play. You know, you could listen to whatever you listen to, but you know, you can censor your music. You know what I'm saying? If you want to listen to hip hop, that's fine, but you don't have to listen to the dirty version. You know what I'm saying? You could listen to the censored version. You could watch movies. You know what I'm saying? Like in my shop, I try to tell the guys, you know, my thing is, if you're gonna watch a movie, do not play a movie you haven't seen already.
Right.
Because we don't need no surprises.
Right.
You know, we don't need to be in the middle of a haircut. There's moms around here sitting down, kids in the chair, and then all of a sudden somebody said, "What's going on TV?" And you look up and then like, boom, ass and titties everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So it's like you got to be real conscious of that kind of stuff, because that stuff leaves a lasting impression on, especially somebody who's new to your shop, and that's not the environment they were looking for.
Right.
And that's what they're gonna leave and say. They're gonna be like, they're not gonna leave and say, oh, they had a movie on and mistakenly a naked scene came on. You know what I'm saying? Or they had a movie on and it was like, I guess they didn't know there was a lot of cussing in the movie. They're just gonna leave. They're just gonna leave and they're gonna say that barbershop is terrible, it's disrespectful, the environment is not for kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The
And
same way they do when you ask them how they like their haircut and they don't like it and they're not gonna tell you. They just gonna be like, yeah, it's dope, it was good. Pay you to leave and never come back.
Yeah, you know, so you got to be conscious of that, man. You got to be conscious of the kind of things you're saying around these little inquiring minds that are in your chair. You know, you got a young man in your chair, and then you guys are sitting there having a conversation about, you know, who you slept with and how. You know, this young man is gonna assume like, oh, well, this is how I talk to girls.
Yeah.
This is how I talk about girls.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you got to understand that they really are little sponges, bro.
Right.
They really, them kids, their mind really is little sponges. They may not say nothing, they may not react to what you're saying, but even though they got their head buried in them iPads, they hear.
They
hear what you're saying.
They observe it.
Yeah, they hear what you're saying, and
you'll
be shocked when they bring it up to you years later. You know.
Right.
So
right. And the interesting part, as we relate it back to social media, right, and what barbers are chasing sometimes. You said, and I made mention of it last week. I don't know, Shy, if you remember when we were at Bronner Brothers. You mentioned how a lot of the social media and a lot of people don't understand that even if you have a large array of followers, that you're only going to attract a small percentage of those followers in your chair due to the geographical location.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It's you know. I always use this analogy, man. 100,000 followers from all over the world, or 10,000 followers from within 10 miles of your shop.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the day you decide to launch a special or a community event, 100,000 followers from all over the world ain't gonna show up.
Nope.
But if you got 10,000 followers that will live within 10 miles of your shop, you might get 2,500 of them to show up.
Yeah. And I want to touch on something, man, because it seems like the theme of this conversation is being better, responsible barbers, right? Being better, responsible barbers, being more aware, more deliberate in our approach to barbering. And at least that's the message that I'm getting from this, and that's the message that I would love to convey out to other barbers, especially barbers up and coming and who want or who's seeking interest in this barbering field, this whole thing.
Right.
Touching on the whole not willing to move unless you're getting paid for it, a way that I try to get guys to understand it, which made it make sense to me, is guys like to talk money. Like you said, you'll have a barber get on the stage and say, well, I cut hair for $1,500, and the whole crowd, ooh and ah, and everybody is dialed in on whatever. They hang up everything that person has to say. They feel like he's going to give me something that's going to make me be able to cut hair for $1,500, right?
Right.
So since guys like to talk money, for me, money is business. Business is money, period. They coexist, right? The way I try to explain it to the guys in a way that it makes sense to me is when you dedicate or you offer your time for something, it's the same as if you're investing your money in something. You're investing your time, and although you may not get an immediate return on your investment, that time that you've pushed out, that you've given away, if you responsibly invest that time, it will have a return. I think everybody on this podcast right now can speak on a time or speak on multiple times that we've invested our time without any financial backing coming from it, and it's turned into an opportunity on the back end.
Yep.
Turned into multiple opportunities on the back end because you were willing to give your time forward first, right?
Right.
So I think that if we have more guys like ourselves willing to go meet them at the starting point, meet them at the schools, meet them in the garages, meet them in the dorm rooms where they cutting hair at, meet them where they at, and kind of see what they got going on, see where their mind is at, and help groom them along that path. Because if you reach one person and you groom him or her coming into this industry, you may plant a seed of leadership in that person, and then they turn into that leader that we desperately need.
Right.
Industry, like we need multiple people willing to be able to, you know, pop the hands of the ones who just coming in and kind of just shitting on the industry because it's a cash grab. When I look at barbering now, that's what I see. I see a cash grab. Everybody coming in trying to get as much out of this $200 billion industry that they can, and they don't give a damn in what condition they leave it when they done with it. They just want to come get what they can out of it and get gone.
Yep.
But it's because, like you said earlier, it's not enough barbers that's been vetted in this, standing on principles and forcing, or not forcing, but standing on principles and further encouraging the ones coming into it that this is how you need to leave this industry better than you found it.
Right.
Yeah, because it is. I'm talking about, bro. It's so much false reality out here, man. Like one of the biggest things that I try not to think about it because it bothers me a lot. I'm not knocking anybody that got a suite, right? But what a suite does is it gives you a false sense of ownership.
It does.
Right?
You're
not managing nobody. You're not managing nobody. You're not, you know, you just wanted to say you have something that's yours. And that's fine, you know, but then, you know, you guys go and you get these suites and you don't even do anything that does anything for the community you're in, or furthermore, like you're not even taking care of the clientele that you have properly, you know? So it's like what I've seen from my experience, most people that have left my shop to grab a suite, and I'm saying most because not all, because one or two have left and gotten their own shops, and one or two have left and gotten a suite and they're doing well. But from my experience, most of the people that I've seen grab a suite have gotten a suite so that they could do the shit that a real shop owner won't let them get away with in their shop.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Most people have grabbed the suite because they want to do bullshit that a real shop owner is going to be like, hey, you can't do that in here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can't walk in here smelling like that.
Right.
Yeah. You know, so they go somewhere where they can do it. And because it cannot be someone else's shop, they figured I'll grab this little 10 by 10 and I'll do what the fuck I want in it.
Right. Right.
Have you noticed too that the suites kind of, it's like a double-edged sword too? Because if you're a barber and let's say you've been in the industry for 30 years, 40 years, you've been doing it for a long time, right? A suite, if you don't have any desire to manage people, right? But you want to maintain what you do and you want to scale it down or make it more controllable for your environment, a suite can be a good thing, right? If a mature mindset is going into it.
Right.
But I also feel like one of the biggest problems with a suite is you hear all the time, the barbers who typically go in a suite are barbers who have social issues. They can't socialize with anybody. They can't intermingle with multiple personalities. So they become uncomfortable in the shop, or the shop becomes uncomfortable for them. So they remove themselves out the shop. They figure, well, shit, I've built up my clientele. I'm busy enough to afford this by myself. I don't want the overhead of a barbershop, so I'm going to just go get a suite and I'm going to maintain what I got. But to me, it's a negative for them, for those barbers, because part of this infrastructure of a shop, when you in a shop with multiple barbers, is it teaches you and grooms you in your character because you're around different people. If no one ever put you in a position where you had to learn how to better judge approaching situations, you'll just continue making the same fucked up mistakes and bad decisions because you've never been trained. You've never been put in a situation to correct it. You know what I mean?
When I first started in the barbering industry, the barbershop that I wanted to work at, they had divided booths. So I couldn't see the other barbers while as I work, and they couldn't see me. And I wanted to work in that barbershop because I wasn't confident in my skill. I wasn't confident, and I didn't want to be judged.
Is that when you was that the first shop?
That's when I was in the
during
Virgin
the
Islands.
first time? Okay.
That was when I was in the Virgin Islands. That was the first shop I wanted to work at, and I said wanted, right? They didn't hire me. They didn't hire me. They didn't ask to see my work, nothing. They just didn't hire me. And I ended up at this shop. It was only 4 chairs, and it was wide open. And I was really nervous my first day because I'm like, this guy is gonna see that I'm not that good.
Right.
But he wanted to see that, and I needed him to see that. Because I needed him to bring his 30 years experience over here and say, hey, don't hold the clipper like that. Hold it like this. Flick your wrist like that. Don't flick your wrist like that. Flick it like this. Hold the comb like this. I needed that. I needed that criticism. I needed that guidance. I needed that judgment. And then as he hired more barbers in the shop, I got to see them, learn from them. Eventually, I was migrating to them and teaching them what he taught me. Right? And then we learned from each other. And then, you know, even now at this stage where I'm at, where some people would look at me like somebody who's conquered this, I don't look at me like that because I always look at me as a student. Right? And I'm not a fan of the term master barber because, like we know, barbering changes with time, with fashion, with trends. You cannot master something that's constantly changing.
I don't know.
That's just my opinion.
I don't know, bro.
You can master what's already out.
Yeah.
But when something new comes out, you still got to try it. You still got to do it for the first time.
I be trying stuff.
I look at Ayo because it's like, good God, boy, I need to go back to school or something. But this
man, chill out, man.
Bro. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, there's always room to learn, man. Like, you know, I remember going to competitions and I'm standing there and I'm already 25, 30 trophies in. And then it's somebody, you know, a younger kid there. And then I see something he does and I'm like, wow, that makes so much fucking sense to do it like that way. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you're always learning. You may not pick up a lot, but you pick up a little bit. And it's never talked about, but let's be honest, a barbershop is always a little competition.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's always a little competition because as marinated as we are, you know, and we know our coworkers well and our peers. But then there's like that one day with a jit in the barbershop, right? The young guy in the barbershop, he puts somebody in his chair and he laces the shit out of that haircut.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you sitting there like, okay, he catching up. Shit.
Yeah.
Right? So you sitting
That's
like,
how you
man, Jit catching up. So now, okay, my next haircut, I'm gonna make sure I put some extra oomph in there, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I gotta make sure he know, hey, you know, I'm still here.
I do this.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's always like a little. It's like an unspoken competition, but we're always looking.
Right.
We're always. But why are we looking? If we mastered it, why are we looking?
Yeah, because you're still learning.
We're always picking up something
and making each other better, right?
Yeah. And I feel like when you leave that environment where you're always, you know, slightly competing and looking and learning from each other, to go to an environment where all you see is you stay you.
Yeah, you'll get complacent.
Yeah, you stay you all the way across. You just
absolutely.
And especially in a suite where you have nothing to compare to. You can't look left or right and see what the next person is doing.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think some guys use that as a marketing tactic too.
Yeah, kind of.
If they take their clients out of that environment, their clients that can't look left or right either.
That's a good point.
I mean, from my experience, man, it don't matter what you do, how little the change you do, you always lose clients.
No doubt.
You always lose clients. I mean, when I opened my shop, I had no idea I was going to lose clients for opening a barbershop.
Yeah.
Really?
You know?
So what were you doing prior? When you got to Miami, at what point, how long before you were there, how long were you there before you got into the shop?
10 years.
Before you got into the shop?
Before I opened my shop, my own shop.
Or before you opened your own shop?
Before I was in Miami 10 years before I opened my own shop, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so cool. You saying when you left the shop you were working in, and on your own, you lost clients behind that
Yeah.
move.
Yeah.
Really?
It was like, it wasn't even, you know, I didn't even go a quarter mile away. I didn't go a quarter mile away, you know, but it's not that. It's just that, like, it don't matter what you do, you're going to lose clients. I lost clients when I bought a truck.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Buying a new vehicle can lose you clients.
Absolutely.
People don't know that.
Oh,
Being
absolutely.
too flossy can lose you clients fast.
No
Yeah.
doubt.
You know what I'm saying? One of the best tools you could keep in your back pocket as a barber is humility.
No doubt.
You got to be humble, bro.
No doubt.
You got to be humble, bro. If you look like you're doing too good in this industry, you will lose clients. You will lose clients. It's sad that it's like that, but it's like, this is a very personable business, and your clients feel like they have a personal connection to you. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of them, if they feel you're doing better than them in life, they move on.
Yeah, they'll stay away. They'll stay away. But part of that too, though, man, I think part of that is losing somebody with that mindset is supposed to happen that way. Because you're that's not typically the client that you want to keep as a lifelong. Because if your position in life or your comfort with your position in life is threatened by me elevating my position in my life, then there's no way you can sew anything into me more than this haircut and you paying me for it. But we can't sit down and have a conversation where you interject anything in my life that's of value, and you're not going to be interested in anything I interject in your life that's of value, because you're going to feel like I'm preaching to you, or you're going to feel like I'm talking down to you, you know?
Going back to what, like, we were talking about earlier, you know, my reason for what I said at the Bronner Brothers Hair Show, that I like to cut the everyday working people, is because I can actually be an asset to them, right? To where I've probably helped start about 20 businesses out of my barber chair. Clients that have sat in my chair and they've needed advice or just help on which bank to go to that could most likely approve them for a loan. You know, simple things like that. You know what I'm saying? People that they sit in your chair, and because they view you as a business owner, again, goes back to what you just said about having clients that, you know, are you know, appreciate what you do. So these clients that moved out the way brought clients like this, you know, where they view you as a business owner, right? And they view your success, and they're like, hey, maybe he can help me.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And they'd be like, hey, Mo, do you know anybody that can help me get my credit together? I'm trying to get approved for a van for a transport company. Can you help me? You know what I'm saying? Point me in the right direction for this. Point me, what would be the best way that I can do this to start a business? And you give them the knowledge that you have as a business owner. And they appreciate it. They take what they get from it. They run with it, you know.
Who's easier to ask that than your barber?
Yeah, somebody who you're comfortable with.
Absolutely.
You know?
And it just allows you to create relationships that are give and take as well. Like that person who works at a bank who may be a loan officer, he may be your client. You know what I mean?
I gave one of my clients a very simple piece of advice. He started a vending machine business. He started it part-time. He has a job. He started it part-time, and he wanted to grow the business, you know, but he wanted to find a way to grow the business while he's at work, where he doesn't have to leave work and try to drive around and talk to people and get phone numbers. And I told him about a marketing deck. Basically, it's an emailable brochure. Get somebody to create you this marketing deck, and you can sit and just from your job, Google different places that you think may need vending machines, and just shoot them the marketing deck. And if they need them, they'll call you.
Yep.
And he came to the barbershop, I'm talking about just giggly excited to tell me that the marketing deck landed him a 12 machine location.
Wow.
You know, and it's just little things like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, when they come back and give you little information like that, that just makes you feel like, yo, I'm doing something for people in this chair.
Right.
Standing behind this chair, I'm doing something for people. I'm helping people change their lives. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't even have to be a business. You could just tell a client about a job that's, you know, if you got a client that does security and you just give him the information that, hey, I heard over here they're hiring and they pay more than where you at.
Right.
And they go apply and they actually get that job. Now they make more money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just those little things that you can do as a barber, you know what I'm saying? And it helps your client elevate their life. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of stuff that makes me, you know, appreciate what I do at the level that I do and for the people who I do it for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Cause you doing a hell of a deed for people getting up and cutting at 4 a.m.
Hell yeah.
It's actually a personal preference, man. I'm a morning person, and also too, man, like we always talk about, man, everybody got to find their niche in the industry, right?
Right.
And at 4 o'clock in the morning, I found that I have no competition.
You sure don't, because I'm in
Who the hell come and get their hair cut at 4 o'clock in the morning? I'm just curious, man. Like,
yeah,
who
a lot
the
of people
hell
that
up that early?
work graveyard shifts, man.
Nah,
Shit, they
man,
usually get off at 7.
it be people that like a lot of my early morning clients are people that are getting off at that time, or they're trying to get their haircut before they go to work, and a lot of them are, man, like firefighters, police chiefs, fire chiefs, you know, some of them are politicians. You know what I'm saying? And believe it or not, you might find this crazy. A lot of them are college students.
4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. A lot of them are college students, bro, and they just early risers, and they just want to get it out their way.
Damn,
I could believe it. Hey, Soul by Marvin, your question was, I want to open a boring business like a barbershop. Is it possible, even if I don't have a license, or would I need to partner with a barber to do this? I have no idea what boring business means.
right.
You'll have to explain that more. But in order to open, matter of fact, Mo, you want to go ahead and take that one?
Bro, you don't have to have a license to open a barbershop. At least one of your barbers does have to be licensed, though, so that you could put the business license under their license.
Correct.
But I don't know what
And
I
ain't
don't know what you
nothing
mean about a
boring
boring business,
about a
because
barbershop.
Boring. Please
listen,
elaborate more what that is.
if you open a barbershop and you hire 2 barbers, you got 10 personalities to deal with. Trust me, it is never a boring day in the barbershop, bro.
Yeah.
Right.
Long-term money, boring business, unsexy, but it is long-term positive business.
What do you say?
It's his definition of boring business is long-term money, boring business.
Slow but for sure is what he mean to say. Money that's slow but for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what he mean.
Okay.
He said like vending machines, trucking, etc. I don't know. I think boring business is kind of a subjective way of looking at it. It really depends on the individual. Now, if you somebody who's trying to own these businesses without operating within them, they can function without your hands being on them, then yeah, it will be a boring business for you. But if you're trying to operate these businesses and be involved with them, none of those businesses that you named are going to be boring. Vending machine is extremely busy because you have to maintain, upkeep, refill. Every time there's a problem, if you have multiple machines in different locations, they're going to be calling you. You got to do all that work yourself.
Right. On top of the fact that any business that you have to deal with people. So if you're hiring and you're managing, even if you're just the overseer and you're doing something, you know, you're 8 to 10 hours a day, ain't nothing gonna be boring about that, dealing with multiple personalities. Like Mo said in the shop, 2 people may give you 10 different personalities. So that shit still ain't gonna be boring.
And honestly, my advice to you, I believe you said you were into real estate. My advice to you is, if your interest is in opening a barbershop, make sure you do your research in regards to commission-based barbershops if you're not planning on barbering within them shops. Because if you open a booth rental barbershop as the owner, if you're not cutting hair in that shop or pushing and marketing some kind of product in that shop, it's not going to be very profitable for you.
Not at all.
It will be slow. It'll be extremely slow money.
Yeah. Matter of fact, in the town that I'm in, I had a couple of, people talk about being, silent investors, which I didn't need. But I explained to him too, I would never go into the barber business in this area. Like, we don't even have a barber college, right? So we're not turning out licensed barbers. If you go get a license, you have to travel to a nearby town and sacrifice, you know, to get that barber's license. So if you're bringing in somebody who doesn't have a license, they don't cut hair, if you end up being the only barber in there, you have to make the return on his money or her money and your money. You know what I mean? So you got your back cutting, you cutting against the wall, and they're just sitting there. They put up front money or whatever money they help invested, but now it's on you to return everything for both partners. So for me, I it was no interest at all in a community like the one I live in.
My advice to you is, honestly, bro, I don't encourage nobody that don't cut hair to open a shop.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
bad investment.
That's just my honest opinion, bro. Like, if you're into real estate, continue to do real estate, man. Get you a rental property. That's slow and for sure money. You know
No
what I'm
doubt.
saying?
No doubt.
But listen, a barbershop is an ever-changing environment. It's an ever-changing. I've seen firsthand barbershops where the barbers have, you know, gotten together while you're not there as the owner, and they just said, hey, on Friday, we all walking out this bitch. And the next time you saw that barbershop, it was cobwebs in that bitch. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Yeah, you could probably say maybe it was the way the owner was running. Sometimes it ain't even the owner. And sometimes it ain't even the owner. Sometimes the owner could be a great person. Sometimes it just, you know, it just is how the industry is, man. People are in this industry, people are constantly changing their minds. And to be honest with you, bro, I would say 90% of barbershops don't have their barbers under no kind of lease agreement. So they're free to get up and go as they please.
Yeah.
And
no repercussions. Right?
I wish that's something that would change in the industry, but we don't have a union, so
yeah, you know. Push it.
Yeah, we don't have a union to put. We don't have a union to push it. So unfortunately, even if it's something I do in my shop, the other 30-some barbershops within 2 miles of my shop ain't gonna do it.
Yeah, and that puts you as a barbershop owner at a disadvantage because you have to stay competitive with the market.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And with you saying that, I don't know if you can see it, but there was a question with somebody that said that they were in Jackson, Mississippi, and asked something about why pay $60 for a haircut. Did you see that, Shy?
Yeah, I did. He was saying that in Jackson, Mississippi, he's in Jackson, Mississippi, and he don't understand why would anybody pay $60 for a haircut?
You ever seen AO work?
The stubble.
I seen it. I don't know. I don't think I know him.
Can't know. Because if you going to get your hair cut by a quality barber, you're not going to see stubble in 2 days, my boy. Unless your hair grows back freakishly fast.
I think they were just trying to troll on the sleep.
Yeah, probably.
Right.
Let me ask you, bro, is your barbershop commission based or booth rent?
No, I'm a booth.
Booth rent.
Yeah.
What's the going rate in the Miami area, if you don't mind me asking?
I think I'm lower than everybody around me. I'm at a flat 200 a week.
Wow. Okay.
I think I'm lower than everybody else, and I think the lowest next to me I've heard probably 250.
Yeah, that's dope because I know I spent so much goddamn money eating when we was in Miami, Shab.
Hey, listen,
I thought you was
next time we come to your city, bro, we packing lunches, bro. We not stopping at no more restaurants out there, bro.
Nah, man, y'all probably was going to all them high-end restaurants and shit, man. Like, I got some spots I could take y'all.
Say less. Next time we will be calling you, bro, because it was disrespectful. They disrespected my whole little pocketbook while I was down. For real. For real.
Let's spend that money, that 305, boy.
Man.
I thought I was going to the hood spots. I said, oh yeah, this is gonna be right up my alleys.
No, man. We got some spots that they're claiming hood, but they'll hit you in the pocket now.
And that's exactly what
hit you in the pocket.
It was in Opelika, so it's like I could get killed standing out front, but they finna smack me with $45 for macaroni and chicken.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I know exactly where you went.
Yeah.
I know exactly where you went. Yes, sir. Nah, bro. I don't even go there.
I had a client that told me the first thing out of his mouth, he said, well, when you go to Florida, don't go to Opelika. So, of course, the first place I want to go is, I want to go to Opelika because he just told me don't go out there.
Got that shot in you.
Let me tell you something, bro. Miami is the most confusing, beautiful, weird place I've ever been in my life, man.
Why you say confusing? I wonder if you get ready to go.
Miami is its own country, bro.
Bro, it's a whole nother world, bro.
This place is its own country, bro.
You could be driving and seeing all this graffiti, and then at a light, boom, it'll turn into $1 million neighborhood.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then you hit another light, and you see crackheads standing next to a cigar shop, but the cigar shop look like it's a $250,000 cigar shop. It's the weirdest, beautiful, ugly, crazy place I've ever been in
because
my life.
what you're seeing is a product of as gentrification happens, not everybody caught the message.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So there's some things lingering around, you know, as shit is being changed around.
Right.
You know, there's some residue from the old neighborhood still, you know, around the area. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
So that's why it seems so confusing. I thought you was gonna say, man, like you was driving and then shit was in Creole, and then it was in English, then it was in Spanish. I thought that's what you was gonna say.
I couldn't understand nothing that was on that anyway, so it didn't even matter.
Yeah,
I didn't meet not one Uber driver. We took Uber the whole time we was there. I did not meet one that spoke the same language, nor did I meet one that spoke English. None.
I was running into brothers that looked like AO. I'm like, what's up, bro? And then they'll speak. I'm like,
yeah.
Like for real. Like, them to sound like me. Like, no.
It's very diverse out there.
We got a lot of diversity down here, man.
Super.
We got a lot of diversity down here, man. But next time y'all come to Miami, I'm definitely take y'all around, man.
Okay, that's
what's up. Take y'all around, cause it don't sound like you guys got no Cuban coffee in y'all, man.
I got Cuban food, and that shit was costly.
Listen, that's how I know you went to the wrong spot. That's because during the pandemic, man, Cubans was still selling rice, beans, and chicken for like $3. So I know you in the wrong spot.
Yeah, I was on South Beach.
There's still spots in Miami where you could get a coffee for 50 cents.
Word?
Man, listen, man, Miami is different, bro.
It's the strongest coffee you ever have in your life.
Man, listen.
You never had authentic Cuban coffee. Drink it, enjoy it for an hour, and go straight to it. Go somewhere where there's a bathroom. Just be close.
That only happens the first time you take it. After your body get used to it, it won't be scared like that no more.
Shit, I ain't want to take it again after that.
That's your body panic, bro. You drank it and your body said, "What the hell is that?
Yes.
Get it out of here.
Get it out." Yes. Hey, my wife left the hotel room, bro. It was horrible, bro. It was horrible.
Copy that hit you early.
Soul by Marvin had a good question, man. He said, if another pandemic keeps folks indoors again, how can barbers diversify their income, fellas? The YouTube barbers was a lifesaver during a time and barbers were getting bags from local leads and YouTube leads. It's a lot of ways to, I think that's one of the things we talked about earlier in the podcast. As a barber or a stylist, is so many different doorways to revenue within this industry alone that if another pandemic hit, first and foremost, I think that you'll never stop barbers from cutting hair.
Yeah.
It's not gonna,
I was just about to say that.
It's not gonna happen.
No.
Anybody when it comes to, I gotta pay my bills, I need to put food in my baby belly, and I know that there's people, the demand for haircuts is even higher because the government or whoever is saying I can't do it. I'm eat. Period. I'm eat. And nobody that's gonna stand in the way of me eating. But if you wanted to think of other ways to diversify, you got online courses, you have online products, you have oh my God, YouTube. YouTube is enormous.
Right. I was gonna say
social media is turning into different ways. the more followers you get, the more people will pay you to endorse their products or endorse their businesses. The more that you communicate, the more clearly you communicate. People will pay you to communicate their message. So it's a whole host of different ways you can diversify barbering. It's just
Right. So,
question becomes, how creative is your mindset?
so can I ask you, Mo, with having a barber shop and going through that pandemic, how did it affect you? And just to kind of piggyback off of that question, how were you able to continue to maintain? Were there other streams, or how did that work for you?
My situation was a little different, man.
Okay.
Okay, so when we were given the official mandate to shut down, you know, we were closed. We weren't cutting no kind of hair at all. But for me, like, I've always been good at saving money.
Okay.
When I first opened my shop, I got a really good piece of advice from a gentleman who I respect a lot that comes to the shop. He's very smart when it comes to business. And he said, "Congratulations, you opened your shop." He said, "Now, before you go spending the money you make," he said, "this is what I want you to do." He said, "I want you to save 1 year of overhead." He said, "Once you have 1 year of overhead saved," he said, "then you could go ahead and enjoy your money."
Absolutely.
So I did it. And after I put up 1 year of overhead, I said, you know what, this is actually a good idea for me to do for my home front too. So I put up 1 year of overhead for my home front too in my personal account. Right. Then I started enjoying my money. That's when I started going to barber battles and doing this and that and doing all the stuff. When the pandemic hit, I didn't cut a single head for the entire 3.5 months we were closed. I actually took it as a 3-month vacation.
Yep.
People called me. Some people even said some very disrespectful shit to me, and to this day we don't talk. You know, like some people call me on some, "I got $100. I know you need it." Bitch, you don't know me. You go wipe your ass with that $100, nigga. I'm so comfortable right now, you have no idea. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'm so comfortable, bro. I took the pandemic, the time off to do things that, you know, I don't know if you guys went that far back in my page to see, but I was doing shit around the house. I was building gates and tool sheds, and you know what I'm saying? I was showing my other skills, you know what I'm saying, during the pandemic. I was having fun shooting them videos, and then that ain't gonna do nothing for my barbering career, but whatever. I was just having fun and passing the time, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yeah, so for me, it was like, I was good because I knew the cushion that I have. I knew I was good for 12 months.
Right.
You know, so.
No doubt.
So, like, you know, the shop checking account actually held me over to where when it looked like I had to touch that reserve for the shop, they actually ordered us to go ahead and open. So I didn't even have to touch that 12-month reserve because what the shop had in its checking account held me over, you know what I'm saying, during the pandemic.
Okay.
You know, and that's why I always tell people, man, like, you gotta be okay with living off half your income. You gotta know how to live off half your income, man, because it's like you don't know when things are gonna happen.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? And that was a perfect example. Like, if I was anybody else, my shop probably wouldn't have seen the light of day after the pandemic, like a lot of shops didn't.
Man,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a lot of barbers weren't prepared for that at all. And a real basic, simple philosophy that a lot of successful barbers I know live by is if you can't afford to buy it twice, you can't afford it.
Yeah. That's a good way to look at stuff. We're too comfortable with financing shit we can't afford.
Absolutely.
You know, I tell people this all the time. I said, if you had to save $500,000 to buy that house, you'd stop at 100,000, and you would have got you something way smaller. You know what I'm saying? Like, the only reason we buy shit like this is because we can finance it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if this was back in the 50s when financing wasn't around and your granddad had to go work his ass off and stack that bread, you know what I'm saying, and then go buy a house, that's why houses were cheap back then. You know what I'm saying? There was no financing available. You had to work, stack that bread, buy that house cash, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, think about it. They owned more shit than we did.
True story.
You know what I'm saying? They owned more shit than we did because, you know, they worked their ass off for 10 years, grab a house, work their ass off for 10 years, grab another house. Some of our granddads died owning 6 and 7 houses or more. You know what I'm saying? And we were out here struggling with one because we financing it. Because we financing it. You know what I'm saying? We're restricting 40% of our income to say we live here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like it's actually pretty fucking stupid, but you know, it is what it is. But you know, that's how I got through the pandemic, man. I've always, from the time I opened my shop, man, I've always focused on saving just as much as I was enjoying my money. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
A few books that I would highly recommend to any barbers on here, you guys as well. You probably done read some of these books already. If you are concerned or you want to figure out better financial habits and better understanding of your finances as a barber, one is by a guy by the name of Dante Financial. It's called "Are You a Asset or a Liability?" That's a great book.
I know that book. Yeah.
A second book it's an old book for new barbers coming into the industry by DL Master Barber called Pocket Game.
Yeah.
Really
quick
good.
Read. Really good. Quick read.
Good.
Yeah. Small book, but it's really good information.
The third book I will put out there is for anybody who has more of a structured leadership mindset and you want to better develop that. The guy's last name is Maxwell. I forgot his first name escapes me, but the name of the book is 21 Absolute Laws of Leadership. I would highly recommend getting those books. Those books have information in it that won't, like you just said, Mo, they won't just change how you address and approach business. It'll help you change how you address and approach your home front. And once you get them two things going on all cylinders, you'll actually be able to see your money. You'll be able to see what happiness feels like, not the illusion of happiness because you're able to pay your bills this month.
Right. No doubt.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to check them out. I haven't read none of those, so I'm gonna have to check them out.
Some good books, man.
No doubt. Lastly, for me, a question that I had is that you're a brand ambassador. Can you talk a little about that?
Yeah. How that came about was, you know, again, competing, going to the different competitions. I was at one of my earlier competitions and I won first place. And with first place, I got this big bag of roller products.
Okay.
I took them back to the shop. I got to use them. And I was like, yo, this is really good. This is really good gel. You know what I'm saying? And I just kept using it. And then I made sure that when I went to competitions, I took that gel with me because I liked it so much. You know what I'm saying? I just made sure, you know, I packed my gel. Even if I had to check it in, I would put it in the check-in suitcase and check it in just so they don't throw my gel away. And a few competitions down the line, I happened to go to this show and the roller people were there. You know what I'm saying? And they had a booth and they saw me walk in with the little roller drawstring bag. And one of the ladies walked up to me and she said, "Hey, you like that product?" I said, "Yeah, I love it. I use it at all my competitions." And she's like, "I'll be right back." And she brought me another bag filled with roller products, right? And she's like, "Here, you know what I'm saying? This is for you to use when you compete." And I won like 3 first places at this particular show. And they came up to me and they were like, "Yo, like, you know, we were thinking about bringing a barber on board and we like you. We like how you carry yourself, how you dress. You know, we would really like you to represent our company." And I said, "Cool." And the guy was like, we've never had a barber ambassador before. So he's like, could you just type up an email, let me know what it is you would want, pay, you know, travel expenses, etc. That way we know what we're getting ourselves into. And then we go from there. And, you know, that's how it started for me. And again, it goes back to how you present yourself, where you place yourself so that you can meet people like this, right? And then your social media. When they go to your social media, they have to feel like you are a great candidate for their company. But the most important part, which Jay Majors mentioned this a long time ago when he got tired of people reaching out to him about put me on baby list, put me on baby list. The most important thing is that you have to show some kind of loyalty to this company first.
Right. Right.
They have to feel like you genuinely rock with them.
No doubt.
You know, and that's the problem. Like, you know, you got some barbers going to companies like, oh man, I love your clippers. Like, you know, you guys should put me on the team. And they go on your page and it's like, you got this clipper in your hand this minute, that clipper in your hand next minute, that clipper in your hand. It's like, do you really love our clipper? Or you just, you know,
Trying to get an opportunity.
you know what I'm saying? You just brown nosing right now, you know?
No doubt.
And showing loyalty to that company. And it doesn't happen overnight.
Right.
It doesn't happen overnight. I know some guys that are on Babyliss, but they've been rocking with Babyliss for years before Babyliss say, hey, man, you've been vibing with us for a while. Jump on the team.
Right.
But it paid off. The loyalty paid off.
No doubt. No
You know what I'm saying? They flew themselves out to the show, you know, help Babyliss set up the booth, help Babyliss break it down. You know what I'm saying? Like, they put in their work for this company to notice their loyalty.
Right. Sacrifice.
You know what I'm saying?
So give us the top, being that you're a barber, been in barber battle competitions, excuse me. Give us the top, or for the listeners and the up and coming, the top barber shows that you would advise to go to and be able to, like you said, fist bump and just get an idea of how the industry works outside of being in their small bubbles.
Okay, definitely CT Barber Expo. You have to go to that. I would confidently say anything that Jay Majors attaches himself to that is a barber show is gonna be a good one.
Okay.
He's a good person to follow because any show that he mentions, like, yo, I'm gonna be here, that show is gonna be big, right?
Okay.
Or it's gonna be a great show because he draws a good energy from the industry, right?
Okay.
So anything Jay Majors attaches himself to will definitely, I can guarantee that's going to be a good show. They have a really good one in the DMV area. It's called the DMV Barber Expo. I don't know if they're going to do it this year. They haven't done it since the pandemic, but that was a big one.
Okay.
That was a big one. The Major League Barber trade shows, those are pretty good. The Texas Barber Expo is good. That one has actually a really good turnout. I'm confident in saying pretty much anything in Atlanta is usually good.
Right.
I think more so too. Barbers got to dwell out of their realm and go to the hair shows as well. Because it's not just the barber shows that are good, but you got ABS Chicago. That's a good hair show. You know what I'm saying? You got IBS New York. That's a good hair show. Cosmo Pro Las Vegas. Browner Brothers, of course. You know, and I think Premier Orlando. And I feel like barbers are asleep on hair shows because they feel like there's nothing there for them. But all the companies that are at any major barber show that you go to will be at these hair shows, and they usually have a more extravagant display. Because they have bigger competition to compete with. Yep. So where you go to one of these barber shows that's gonna have 800-900 people, and you know, for example, JRL may feel like a 10x10 booth is sufficient for that. You know what I'm saying? Right. But then you go to Premier Orlando and JRL has a 40x40 stage with lights hanging off and big ass displays everywhere and TVs everywhere, and their booth looks real futuristic, and it's like damn, they go all in like this? Like, yeah, but you're not gonna see this at a barber show. No, you gotta come to the hair show.
Okay. You participated in the hair show, didn't you? Because I seen something of course, everybody we talked to, when I met you at the show, I scrolled down your page to the bottom.
Yeah.
You had it was the dopest design I've seen. It was a colorful, like a floral design with a hair prosthetic.
Yeah, that was the Chico Boom's gala. That was the barber gala in Fort Myers last year. That was Chico Boom's show. It was more it wasn't like a competition show. It was a showcase.
Yeah, like
a
gala. Yeah.
Showcase Gala. That's the name of it. Chico Boom Showcase Gala. It was just a showcase.
I want to do something like that so bad, bro.
Yeah, that was actually my daughter that I used as a model. That was my oldest daughter. Yeah.
That's dope.
To me, that
we
that
put a 18-inch tall high top fade on her. Yeah.
yeah, it was dope though, bro.
I
Because the
appreciate that.
design went into the.
Yeah.
To me, that opens up a whole nother. That's that ultimate. Okay, you're a barber, cool. You're an artist, cool. Show me. How creative can you be?
Yeah.
That was dope. That was dope.
And I
That,
felt like that. I felt like that's what I did is what I felt Chico Boom was asking me for when he said, Mo, I want you to showcase at my show because I know you're gonna bring it.
yeah.
And I said, well, what do you need me to do? He said, man, do whatever's on your mind. He said, give them something to look at. And that's what I gave him.
You definitely over delivered on that, man, because it was dope. And then I like how you presented it. You put half color up top, no color at the bottom. Can you guess what the design is? And dude, it had me. I was tuned in. Like, I gotta see what he finna turn this into, bro.
Yeah.
I to me, bro, that's the stuff I'm passionate about, bro. Seeing the different ways barbers can step outside of being behind a chair and be creative and bring their actual creative mindset to show people stuff that you've never seen before.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope.
It's just, in this industry, man, just never limit yourself, bro.
Yeah.
Just never limit yourself, man. Don't worry about the naysayers and whatever. If you want to compete, compete. You know what I'm saying? The only loser at a barber competition is the one that didn't stand on stage and try.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody, only 3 people walk away with trophies. But let me tell you, everybody walks away with new experiences, with new knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, there's some barbers, I know some barbers that man, I'm talking about, they compete at almost every show. And they lose at a lot of them. And I know some barbers that have never won, but they still compete to this day. And to me, those barbers, when they do win, it'll be that much more special for them.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because they consistently chipped away at it until they finally get it. You know what I'm saying? But why do they go? If you have never stood on stage and competed against 60 other barbers who all want the same trophy, I cannot explain it to you. You have to feel it for yourself. What you're going to feel when you're on that stage, I'm talking about win, lose, or draw. You're going to get off that stage and you're going to be at the barbershop, and your focus on every haircut is going to be so much sharper because you still have that adrenaline and that feeling that you had on stage. It goes with you back to the shop.
It does.
It goes with you back to the shop, and you just look at every haircut as like a competition piece now.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell people, man. Just, you got to experience that adrenaline at least one time. Go up there and have fun. Don't go up there expecting to win. Go up there and have fun. Whatever happened, enjoy it. If you didn't win, congratulate the winner. Shake hands with them. Compare your work to theirs honestly. Honestly. Compare your work to theirs honestly and see why they won. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't going to do nothing but make you better.
Yeah. And you even if you don't win them competitions, man, you get so many more connections just because you competed. Because people recognize that you are willing to step up there and put your work on display to be judged. That takes a lot of confidence and grit to do that.
I know barbers that have stood on stage with me, competed against me. They didn't win, but they left that day with an endorsement.
Yeah.
Because a company noticed them. A company realized, like, man, this guy has the image we've been looking for. This young lady has the image we've been looking for. This is what we want on our stage. And how could they get that image of you being on a stage if you don't stand on a stage?
Right.
No. Yeah. You just become another face in the crowd.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's dope.
So where you're at a show with 3,000 people, but these 20 are standing on stage.
Right.
I'm not
all eyes on them.
Yeah, I'm not gonna look around to the 3,000 people. We're gonna look at the 20 that's on stage. Which one stands out the most? Why? And then on top of that, he or she is good at cutting hair,
Right.
that's who we want.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
That's dope.
Yep.
That's dope.
Keep down this beard so they look and say, okay, he young. young. He can young people. So.
Right.
Man, let them grays come in, man. Let them grays come in, man.
You got the beard, you got the do-rag or whatever.
Oh, man, I'm trying to get back in the wave game, man. Some of my young clients been coming at my neck, so I got to show these young dudes how to get out.
Okay. Almost said assalamu alaikum.
I've been out that game. I ain't in that game at all. The wave game. What's that? What's that? I know.
Man. Well, this has been, man, a hell of a interview, man, on the I Cut My Way Out podcast. Man, we've enjoyed you again, man. We thank you for taking your time out. You got a 4 a.m., so I know hell is what is it there? 9:45?
9:45, yeah.
Yeah. So
this
we
usually around the
apologize.
time I go to sleep, about 10:30. So I'm good.
Okay. So man, we greatly appreciate it. You guys have anything to add, fellas?
I'm good.
Nah, man, I just want to say thank you, bro.
I enjoyed hearing
Thank
y'all
you
talk
guys,
earlier
man.
before I tuned in. Y'all was going in.
Really appreciate you, man. Like I said, and I mean that, I'm a big advocate about giving guys their flowers. You, from the initial conversation, bro, you have had my ear. So
no doubt.
Keep on being who you are, man, because I'm looking, I'm watching, and I'm listening.
Thank you,
guys. Keep on keeping on. And lastly, can you tell everybody exactly where the shop is located? So if we in Miami, we want to come and get laced up, where can we fall through at?
All right, so my shop is located on the south end of Miami. It's called is an area called Palmetto Bay.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's 9849 East Fern Street, Palmetto Bay, Florida.
Okay. Yeah. And the name of the shop again?
The Cut Stop Barbershop.
The Cut Stop, yes, sir. That's what's up.
Appreciate you,
man. We appreciate you, man. Tell your family thank you for allowing us to borrow you for an hour and a half, man.
No problem. The only one upset at y'all is the dog, because he's still waiting to eat.
Oh, okay. All right, man.
All right, man. You guys have a good night.
Absolutely, man. We'll stay in tune.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Peace. All right, fellas.
All right, Doc.
All right.